Plaintiff Carl Bradshaw says he's here today because he thinks his son, the defendant, needs a reality check. Carl desperately wants his son to get his life on the right path, and he's suing him today for rent and a court fine. Defendant Carl Bradshaw II admits that he had problems, and he's tried every drug he could get his hands on, but says he blames his father for nothing. Carl says his father was always there for him, but Carl was never there for his father, and he insists he's trying to turn his life around.
Tell me what's going on.
Well, sir, I came here today not only for the case I brought in front of the court, but for my son to find out about the way life really works. He's had some problems, and I wanted to bring him in front of your court, Judge Mathis, simply because I know at one time in your life you've had problems. I've watched your show. I've seen you on news shows where you've spoke about that. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe a help to him would be actually looking at a person that's been down, mm-hmm. chose to get up, made themselves fitting for humanity and to the peoples around them. Mm-hmm. And that I thought it's a good success story that my son can get some value out of today on the good side, the plus side of life.
Good. Do you think he's ready to
go? Sir?
Do you think he wants to?
I believe he does now, sir.
Right.
I think
that's
he's ready.
The difference. A lot of folks, their friends and family ask me to try and help and make a difference in young people's lives, but they have to be ready. So that's one of the things parents and relatives need to know about their loved ones. Until they're ready, there's nothing you can do.
Absolutely,
but
understand.
Pray. All you can do is pray for them.
Yes, sir.
You can cry, you can beg, you can do whatever, and they'll keep doing it. They have to say, I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
They'll deceive you. They'll say, okay, I'm doing right. I'm not going to do it anymore.
And lie to you.
Yeah. Go to jail, mama. If you could just get me out this one more time, I swear I ain't going to never do it no more. I'm going to turn my life around.
Yes, sir.
You hear that all the time. I'm going to turn my life around.
Yes, I have.
But they have to be ready. I was ready. It didn't happen till my mother begged, pleaded, everything she could, cried since I was 12, beginning at age 12. And it wasn't until 17 when I decided, okay, I'm ready to stop. And it was because of a few factors. If you've heard my story, you know that it's one, because she was dying while I was in jail and of cancer. And two, I believed I had an opportunity to change. So those are the two things. One, the opportunity being, once I got my GED, I had a cousin, Addison Hines, who helped me get in college. So I knew, I said, okay, I got a chance here. So let me talk to you. What have you done destructive in your opinion? Or what have you done wrong? Have you done much wrong in your life?
Well, Your Honor, I'm here today because a good Marine once told me that, boys run from their problems, but a good man stands up and takes his lumps. That's and he accepts whatever responsibility or consequence comes to him because of his actions. Mm-hmm. And I'm here today to accept both. And, lots of kids that I've ever met, they always find a way to blame their problems on somebody else, mainly their parents. They didn't buy me the nicest stuff, or, they worked too much and weren't there for me. But I ain't here to blame nothing on this man.
Good.
My father's a good man. He's always been there for me. And the only problems in our relationship was I was never there for him. I wasn't there for myself either. Before I go any further, I'd like to say something to my dad and offer him my respect.
Please do.
Dad, I want to say thanks for never giving up on me and always being there for me, because I've been in a lot of dark places and you were the only one that ever there, pulled out a hand and helped pull me out of them. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for you, I literally wouldn't be alive and stand here today. And I want to say thanks.
Well, sir, if he hasn't changed, it certainly sounds like he wants to. And he's starting out the right way. In fact, that's how my change started. When my mother came to visit me in jail, she said, you've embarrassed me in schools, in churches, in the neighborhood. She said, now I'm going to die. And immediately I became remorseful. I started apologizing. I said, I'm going to make it up. I'm going to redeem myself. But once I said that, just like you said it to your dad just now, once I said it to my mother, I immediately got on the fast track. I got my GED and then was in college. When she died, I was in college already. So she was able to see me redeem myself. And God willing and the creek don't rise, you'll be able to redeem yourself while your dad is still around. He's not going to live forever.
Right.
He doesn't seem to be a spring chicken.
62, Your Honor.
62, and that's not very mature. He's got a long ways to go, so you have a good 30 years to redeem yourself in his eyes if you mean what you just said. And I believe you did mean it, because no one will come on television, admit that they've done wrong by their parent, tell their parent they're grateful for hanging in there with them. I believe you're sincere. And so I think you should be hopeful. What's your status now? We're going to get to the unpaid rent you're suing them about, but what's your status? Did you finish school or GED or anything?
Since the time I was 13, I just woke up one day and I was like, I want to get high. And I went and did it. I didn't have any other bad influence on me. Something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And that started out 10 years of I hitchhiked around the country. I scammed companies out of free rides and free things, just so I could party in a different city and try every different drug I could get a hold of, And for 6 years of that, I was stuck. I was banging heroin every day, and I didn't care about nothing. And I gave everything up. And then one year I didn't have very many friends, because I was such a junkie, but 8 of my only friends that I did have, they died in 1 year, all drug related, either overdose or because they were high and they were out driving, or they got caught by law and they didn't want to go to prison, so they killed themselves in the cell. And one day I was sitting around, I was like, man, I'd literally only have a couple friends left, who's going to go after they're gone?
Right.
And then I got to think, it's like, heck, I might not even live to see them gone.
Right.
I might be next, I'm next in one of these lines here. So I packed up a few of my things, left all my nice furniture, a few friends I had left, I left everything and moved out of state. That way, even if I start fiending out real bad and wanted something, I would be somewhere where I didn't know where anything was and couldn't get a hold of it. And I'm going on to 8-9 months now clean. And, through the grace of God, through the grace of God is the only thing that's got me here, and I ain't ever going back. And I say that with, the most utmost confidence and certainty. I've been holding down, steady job and working my tail off. It's all I ever do. I got to keep my hands busy. I volunteer at my church, a frequent goer to my church.
Let me ask, what are you doing to prepare yourself just in case the company you're with now closes down or it moves out of town? What are you doing to prepare yourself? Because that's what folks need to understand these days. Companies close and lay off people so quickly, and then the next company is going to want a set of skills. They're going to say, what skill set do you have? So what are you doing to prepare yourself?
Well, I've been looking into other places around my house and everything, look for different job opportunities.
This is what I suggest. I suggest that you get a skill of some sort, whether it's going to a skilled trades program that might last 6, 12, 18 months, or a community college where you can get your associate's degree, or a university, which is what I did. I went and got my GED and went to a university. So, you can go as high as you want to go depending on your desire and your skill set. Now, you're good at something, and find out what that is and pursue that.
I have been looking into some colleges for becoming a drug counselor because I want to be able to help some other kids get through, because nobody knows better than I do, what it's like.
Excellent. And those are the most effective drug therapists and counselors, those who've been through it. Good, I'm glad. You're talking the right stuff. So let's stay on track. You want to tell me about the rent?
Yes, sir. Real quickly, how we got there, my son come to me, asked me how he could clear up work on his credit. He only had a couple small things against him, nothing astronomical. So I explained to him the way you go about it. And so I said, if you're going to start that, then let's get to this point that I'm making a payment for you on back rent and that court fine that I paid for you. So why should I make it? Why don't you try starting with that, and then we'll work on through the credit bureau, your problems. And he said to me, well, I thought, and this was a joke at one time, well, I thought you were going to sue me. And I said, son, don't say that.
Right.
And don't mean that. Because
you get what you wish.
Yes, I actually said that. I said, don't ask for what you really want. But so I said, don't say that to me. And he said, just go ahead and sue me. I said, all right. And here we are, Your Honor.
Okay. Dad keeps his word. All right. And do you agree it's $2,996?
Yes, I do. And, I've always had every intention to pay my dad back. And I want to take care of him today. It's just, I'm just now starting to get around where, I'm getting on my feet, and I just haven't had a chance to pay him yet. But
when is the last time you've paid anything?
I don't believe we've ever paid anything to
All
him, to be
right.
honest with you.
See, that's where you have to show some sincerity, is to pay something, even if it's nothing more than $50. And then you go to dad, at least give him the benefit of a story. I want you to tell the truth, but you tell him something, man. You got to say, Dad, all I can do is $50 this week. I met this new girl and I'm checking off all my money with her. Whatever it is, you got to tell him something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, all right, we're going to give you 3 months or 6 months. Is that all right? We give him 6 months to pay $2,996. All right? So do the right thing. We'll see where you're at then. If Dad wants to extend it, he may. Or if he wants to shorten it, he may. But I think he's going to do the right thing, since you are talking about doing the right thing, as long as you give him something. All right? So you better go find you a woman to trick off with, and then you can give him what's left over. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, sir. I just want my son to know that I believe what he said. I have believed in it in the last few months, and I do truly think that he meant what he said, and that I love you, son. And you've always been able to come and talk to me, and just keep it up. We'll get you through it.
Oh, I ain't never going back to how it was, Dad.
All right.
You know that. I've never done this good. I ain't ever going back. Well, me too, Dad.